Chapter 178. Jonathan is called to an important service. When the evening meal had been prepared and eaten, Jonathan said to Joseph, "Brother, you will not have enough room for me, so let me go home now during this fair night to where a sufficiently large couch is prepared for me. Tomorrow I will be back here an hour before sunrise." Joseph replied, "Brother, if you have no other concern than only for a sufficiently large resting place, you can make yourself at home here, for there shall be no lack of that in this now my house. See, there in the outer court is a door on the left to a roomy side chamber. There I have already had a good resting place set up for you. I am sure that it will be large enough for you, so you may just as well stay here." To this Jonathan said, "Brother, you are very kind to me, and I now realize only too well that I am nowhere more at home than here, and am also convinced that your resting place will accommodate me very well. But something is now drawing me homeward with great urgency, and that all at once so strongly that I would rather fly there than go on foot as usual." When Joseph heard this, he said, "Your will is your own, and you can do what you will, so you can go or stay." Thereupon Jonathan went to the little child and most humbly took his leave from him. Here the little child stated, "Jonathan, if you absolutely want to leave, you are free to go, but do not forget to come back. Now I tell you that your plan to cast your big net tonight will avail you nothing. Instead I shall drive a shark into your net that will torment you until sunrise and will tear up your best fishing gear in the morning. And despite all that you will not catch him, for he will bring all your effort to naught with one slap of his tail into the water." When Jonathan heard this from the little child, he suddenly changed his mind and said to Joseph, "Brother, in that case I shall remain. See, tomorrow I wanted to bring a big cask filled with the choicest fish, and this thought drew me homeward so strongly. But now that I have heard how this haul will turn out, I shall stay with you. So have me brought to my couch, where I shall sleep quite peacefully, and I do not care what happens at home." At this the little child said, "Jonathan, thus you please me better than when you seek to conceal your heart. But I now tell you, go home, for at midnight you will do me an important service." Thereupon Jonathan arose and hastened homeward, blessed by Joseph's and household. Chapter 179. The lucky catch, an omen for Jonathan. According to present-day calculations, it was the 10th hour in the evening when Jonathan came home. When he arrived there, he found his 3 helpers with their wives and children quite busy, and heard them rejoice and speak among themselves as follows: "It is well and good that our master went away and gave us a chance to show him what faithful servants we are to his house. Today we caught 1,000 pounds of tuna, 1,000 pounds of sturgeon, 3 young sharks, 10 swordfish, 1 dolphin, and about 200 pounds of choice smaller fish. How happy he will be to find such a wealth of fish." Jonathan now made his presence known, and all ran towards him like children to their father, and told him of the lucky catch. Jonathan praised and kissed them, and then said, "Since you have already been so industrious today, go now and quarter the large fishes, namely the sharks, the swordfish, the dolphin, and the sturgeons, and bring them into the large smoke shed. Be sure to promptly make a strong smoke with a number of pleasantly scented shrubs, so the fish will not spoil because of the heat, and rub especially the shark and the dolphin well with salt, and do not spare the sea onions and the thyme. Then put the tuna and the other smaller fish into the large casks." And his chief helper assured him, "O master, what you have now ordered done was already done during the day, and everything is in the best order." Here Jonathan went and convinced himself of everything, and then declared, "Children and brothers, that is no ordinary catch. A higher power has helped here, so let us wait until after midnight and see whether this higher power will not make us our strength in return. You have seen the full eclipse of the moon. That is the sure sign that a misfortune awaits someone still today, so let us wait until midnight and see if someone will not have need of our help. Go now and ready the great boat that has a sail and 10 strong oars for departure." And the 3 helpers at once readied the boat. Now they had hardly completed their task when a mighty wind began to stir up the water of the sea. Here Jonathan said to the 3, "Now we have no more time to lose. Call your 10 sons and place them at the oars. You, fishing master, take the wheel, and I shall manage the 2 large forward oars myself. Pull in the sail, since we have a contrary wind, and now let us go out on the high sea at once, in the name of the Almighty." When they had thus steered outward for at least an hour, and had much trouble with the strong waves, they heard loud cries of fear coming from the high, mightily heaving sea. At this they rowed with great vigour, and in a quarter of an hour reached a large Roman ship which had run aground on a sandbar, and had already been strongly tilted by the pressure of the waves. Rope ladders were hastily thrown over the side of the Roman ship, and all the people, numbering about 100, were saved, in command of whom was none other than Cyrenius, accompanied by Tullia and by Maronius Pilla. Chapter 180. A great reward for Jonathan. Cyrenius now asked his gigantic rescuer where they were, and also for his name. Jonathan answered, "Sir, you must be a stranger, since this land, which has so many characteristic features, is unknown to you." And Cyrenius said, "Friend, one region not seldom has a similarity with another, and in the twilight of the moon one may easily fail to recognize one's own homeland. Besides, it is especially difficult to recognize a locality when one's feelings have first been stirred up by fear of death. So you may as well tell me the name of this region into which the terrible storm has driven me." Jonathan now said, "Good sir, you are surely familiar with the rule that one should not be too quick in telling someone just rescued where he is. For if he is far from his destination, he becomes too depressed upon learning this too soon after withstanding great danger. But if some happenstance the storm does after all cast a rescued person close to the place of his destination, this sudden joy, after the recently withstood fear of death, could cost him his life. Therefore the rescuer should at first be reserved, and only after a while tell the rescued what they want to know." When Cyrenius heard this manner of reply from the to him still unknown rescuer, he admitted, "Truly you are a noble rescuer, and have the right sort of wisdom along with it, to so steer away that we may soon reach land." Here Jonathan announced, "See, the bight is already reached. It branches off into a small arm of the end, and if we were on a fixed and calm spot, we would already have seen my fishing hut. In much less than a quarter of an hour we will be on dry land, for the wind is now very favorable to us." Cyrenius was satisfied with this answer, and Jonathan sailed through the bight with the speed of an arrow, and reached the desired shore in a few minutes. When the boat was made fast to the shore, all immediately stepped on to the land, and Cyrenius loudly thanked the God of Israel that he had saved him with all those dear to him. When Jonathan heard that Cyrenius, whom he did not know at this time, praised the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he said, "My friend, now I am twice as glad that I have saved an Israelite in you, for I am also a son of Abraham." And Cyrenius responded, "I am not quite that, for I am in fact a Roman, but I still know the holiness of your God, and therefore acknowledge him alone."